everyone. Pleasure being here. Thanks, Greg. This time I think I'm ready. For those of you guys who don't know, I was ready last week in the in-person AI session. So wrong session, right deck. So all good. Team, maybe a little bit about this deck. It's kind of a little bit fun on the good, the bad, and the ugly. Kind of what's happening with dynamic or with AI and dynamics and what we've seen and some of our customers and what's good, what's bad, and what's not. From our perspective, maybe I'll get started here. Can everybody see my screen? Cool. Awesome. So I am the CEO managing partner here at Ludia Consulting, and I've been doing dynamics for almost 20 years now. AX7, whatever, even before Power Platform was a thing. Greg and I used to sit down and talk about remember a history on that. It would become the best next thing here with regards to applications or business applications. That's a little bit about me. I'm all about AI in streamlining operations for customers and internally as well. We're a consulting org, so obviously it's a big deal. A little bit about us. We do three things, and we do three things well. We do business solutions, AX or ERP or F&O, all those things. We do all those solutions with success by design, in assessment, implementation, and innovation. So when if we find customers that have implemented previously, more than happy to help. Additionally, we do AI business enablement. So what is it? Is using all shades of AI, whether it lives on Dynamics, whether it lives on M365, whether it's a standalone agent, whether it's a custom agent. We really provide AI expertise in this case, all based on Microsoft technologies. And lastly, we take care of our customers with providing support. Maybe a little bit about our sauce, and I think this would be useful for everybody. Just from a high level overview, we call it the sauce, not the juice. And the sauce versus the juice is because the juice leaves your fridge in a minute. The sauce is always there. Look at your fridge. You know exactly what I mean. And team, yes, we have a small group, so feel free to ask questions or anything you want to discuss. I'm here to answer anything. Long story short, I would say the key takeaway here is that we're a portfolio partner for Fast Track, in making sure that our customers are happy with the results and we follow their methodologies or Microsoft methodologies. But let's get into the deck. Let's get into it. Here's our deck here, our slide here, Greg. We have a ton of customers all throughout the world in Copilot, supply chain, Power Platform, Project Ops, service, customer service, contact center as well. And it's really revolutionizing businesses throughout the world. But let's talk about this, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This story here comes from, in reality, several messages. One, I just attended ACEC, which is all construction companies nationwide, which are going through a architecture, engineering, construction. They're going through a revolution or a change in the way that they do businesses with regards to AI. So is professional services and so on. So I'm going to bring kind of industry perspective to this. And then we can get technical if we want to get dirty. That's all good. But I wanted to bring a little bit of the good and the bad and the ugly. So there's kind of two types of people lately. I think we talk about Power Platform and ERPs, fairly straightforward. But in AI, it's a little bit of a wild west. Here, everybody means AI in a very different way. And we like to joke around that there's those who understand AI and those who just say Copilot on the executive side, right? And it just seems that there's all sorts of shades as to what it's going to be used for. So let's talk about a little bit of the good. What is happening within Dynamics? Has anybody seen this screen before or this slide? Is the jam, right? So what is happening here is that Microsoft is heavily invested in data and AI, security, infrastructure, and everything that powers the Power Platform. In reality, that's how they make their money. ACR. right? Azure consumption revenue, that's all they really care about in this world with regards to the usage. The more we use, the more the money they make, the more they store, the bigger they grow, and so on. But that goes and powers everything in the Power Platform. And Dynamics 365 is just a model driven app. It's just a very complex one and so on, but they all live on top of D365. And that is going to allow us to grow to some pretty crazy good solutions. Now, the way that this is going to look like into the future is the modern work side is joining us into the Power Platform, and also the contact center, voice, operations, and things like that is opening up big time for us to create applications and embed them within processes, business applications, or anything that the business wants. So there's a tremendous amount of opportunity. Jackie, you're talking about Power Platform, right? A lot of need there or growing need. This is now, as we see it, we only estimate that it's going to continue to go up to Dynamics 365, which I think is wonderful. So you're going to get out of the custom small apps to more business solution apps in the future. Now, here's another thing that is happening is that it is also extending. There's a competition with SAP, Salesforce, and so on, in which it doesn't matter what the customer has, we can play with it. And now I think we were talking about it last week, Greg, right? We got Entra, we got Defender, we got Sentinel as part of the security aspects of controlling how this AI is going to grow or is managed within this Azure ecosystem. So now I think we can safely start assuming that we have a pretty robust platform for all things AI on the business side, on the Power Platform side, and on the data and management side of the infra side as well. I think everybody kind of knows that. Fair? All right. Questions so far?
Fair. Feel free to ask questions, you guys. This is your time to shine.
Cool. Cool. All right. So everybody's seen what this becoming frontier is, right? It's frontier and frontier, frontier, frontier. Well, this is actually a three-dimensional picture. What do I mean by that? Is that we have to become frontier as an organization, our customers have to become frontier as an organization, and Microsoft has to become frontier as an organization. Does that make sense? So everybody has to migrate at the same time, and they're becoming kind of frontier in realities is taking AI, looking at their processes and reshaping the way that they do things. Right? Customers are demanding more. So this is great because there's so much innovation that is going to come our way in the next 2 years. It's going to be pretty crazy. All right. So let's land it a little bit. I guess that's the next one. So you guys already know, we call it over here the Taylor Swift. This is a Taylor Swift slide because Taylor Swift has agents and an assistant, and we all know that's the easiest way. Right? The assistant does things for her, the agent or the assistant does whatever she tells it to do. The agent goes and finds new work. That's really the way that we look at things going forward. This is going to be the next level experience for everyone. So back to the frontier, expect to see it for you, for your customers, and for Microsoft as well. So this is good, right? So in here, these are Dynamics agents that are coming in, are custom and intent, sales qualification, case management, sales order agent. There's a lot of things that are kind of coming to the front line, and it's not going to be long before we start kind of talking to agents just everywhere. All right. So I was at ACEC last week, and I gathered, actually thanks to some of the folks at Microsoft, gathered this. Every civil ASCE or construction company, energy company is saying this. They're all switching over to Microsoft to better support their customers, architects with AI assistants and things like that. All of this is Power Platform, Power Platform. So this is great. Right? This is incredible. That's really the future here. And if you guys follow what's happening in the energy sector, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Okay? promise you guys, it's not a sales call or anything like that. It's like a strategy and insights as to the good, the bad, and the ugly from what we learned. So this is the good, right? And this is what we're seeing. So everybody that we've polled is in transition, right? No analysis, no workers. When's the last time anybody tried to get a plumber out or an electrician or anything,
Good,
right?
good luck.
It's months out. So why is that, right? So because there's a lot of chaos, there's lower productivity, there's so everybody the wages go up, so there's tighter margins, right? And so the collaboration, the efficiency of all these businesses really have this is just one industry, ACEC, that is in deep transition, right? So now with all the tariffs and all the stuff, supply chain has a lot of challenges, and also people, are demanding higher wages, which is fair. So that cuts the profit margin and makes everything much um, operational expenses much higher. So they're trying to lower their OPEX and basically do this. Every business in the country or in the world is trying this. So this is great. There's no better opportunity for us to do the Power Platform than now. Okay, so let's talk about the bad. And by the way, anybody seen the good, the bad, or the ugly? Maybe.
Classic, dude.
Good old Clint Eastwood. Okay, fair enough.
Even if we
Jackie,
haven't seen it, which I haven't, we know about it.
yeah,
Definitely heard of it. Yeah.
yeah. K-pop Demon Hunters. It's like, and the good and the bad, and the ugly are about 100 years apart. All right. So the bad. Snake oil and promises. Here's what's happening. Um, there's a lot of talk about AI configuring dynamics for you and so on. Right now, that's not reality yet, right? So we expect a lot of noise about that. The next one is that is if your data sucks and connected data, it's hallucinations with confidence. That's it. You're going to be really accurate on the wrong stuff, right? So being able to understand, and last week we had this really good session, Greg, about mapping data with TriMet and this example and what tables are belong in primary, secondary keys and things like that. That was fantastic. And change management, there's no AI without humans. It's just simple as that. So they fail because we try to make all this amazing stuff that forgets the human. Just simple as that. And as of last year, it was 90% of projects never left the floor, right? They were getting stuck. And also, there's shadow IT that is happening. So for us on the Power Platform, is that I don't know if you guys remember about a year ago or 6 months ago that they were like, just turn on Copilot and let everybody just do Copilot Studio. Just go. Let me take you to a Copilot in a day and go, and you go home and you create and you go. Dinesh, go ahead.
Yeah. This is really insightful. First of all, just on this slide, I was just seeing the call out to humans still involved, and I have a business operations background. That's kind of my area of expertise, and so I think of planning. I think of how you execute decision making, all kinds of those elements, and often in companies, it could be different if in sales versus marketing versus the different functions. So just seeing this slide, it was a broader question I had. When you think about, I guess maybe even earlier in your presentation, you talked about, how the work that your company has done or that you've seen, whether it's, the Dynamics 365 or AI. It seems like what I've seen at least is that because these business processes are so customized, and even within a company, they can be so different from one function to another, that the solutions have to be customized to a great deal. And so there's a lot of onboarding and a lot of business use case defining that needs to happen. Can you speak to that? And I guess, it rose to me when I saw the change management, right? And I think a change management can be aligned to any process that we're trying to automate or augment with AI. And maybe I'm thinking more broadly about AI versus specific 365 applications. But so maybe a macro question is how customized do these solutions have to be, and how embedded do you have to be with the teams that are trying to implement them? Does that question make
Yeah,
it's a
that's
very broad question, but
I think Dinesh, let's continue because there's a slide on business process in itself.
okay.
Because that's it's almost an existential question, but
Yeah.
yes, AI in itself, like we have to all in the Power Platform stop saying pre-Copilot POCs, just first ones on us, and let's go. Here you go, Mr. User, and you now, Microsoft's getting the license, right? But you're introducing a crazy stuff into their environment, disconnected, unsecured, unmaintained, right?
Yeah.
So we have to be careful this false promise. And then when they present, this person who has a POC presents to executive and says, "Here's my Copilot," and that Copilot doesn't do or respond the way that it should or whatever, has bad data, they're like, it's not ready for prime time.
Yeah.
It's like, well, hang on, you actually you gotta slow down before you speed up. So this is our job here in the Power Platform community and Dynamics to ensure that not so fast.
Yeah.
I'm not anti-AI. I'm pro-process.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think you really hit the nail on the head with it's all about the configuration, right? And I think people forget that and just think it's all magic.
You turn it
But it's
on,
not.
you got an agent, and you're an AI company. It's like, hang on, guys. All
Yeah.
right. So
Can I
that's the
ask? Can I
bad.
ask one more thing,
Yeah.
Lucas? On the shadow IT, you mentioned, and we saw this a lot, right? Like Power Platform is kind of like all over the organization. Um, it does, and there was a lot of good in that, right? But are you saying that kind of that Power Platform sprawl makes it a little harder for the AI implementation or even for the Dynamics piece?
Makes it harder to manage, easier to proliferate.
Okay.
Because now you can put an agent in your app that lives in some obscure corner, right?
Yeah.
And so everybody, you can sprinkle it everywhere, but to manage that is impossible,
Yeah. Agreed.
right? So we can become, if we're not careful, our own worst enemy.
Mhm.
So is this switching the pendulum back from citizen developers, which is what Power Platform was being pushed as the last couple of years?
It depends. It actually gives us all a promotion. What does that mean? We must think on these terms. We must think it's like, hang on, let me look at what's in the landscape and what's happening throughout. Does that make sense? So this could be a 6-hour session if we keep going. But long story short, it creates other problems. With me so far?
Yep.
All right. This is what happened at AEC. So guess what happened when this happens? How many power apps you think that were created here? Right? How many agents just all over the place, unmanaged, where these are success stories, but behind the scenes it's just sticky tape. So anyway, think on that. The ugly, right? So now we have integration showdowns. What does that mean? So D365, Power Platform, Azure, Legacy ERP is it's hard. It's a showdown in production on how you get AI to really work across these different ecosystems. And also, if I'm implementing safe and secure AI or Copilot or an agent, I have other areas in which I am not responsible for, like security and governance on other connectors, other integrations, other users that just randomly got the right amount of access to create a data exposure for me. Right? You can bring my whole organization down by one person. Secrets, privacy secrets, even on our side, we have to be super careful. And another thing is that we have some users love Copilot, and some people just absolutely hate it because some people are frightened from it. because they don't understand what it could really do or what it cannot do per se. So this is a really big issue from a change management. So Dinesh, from your perspective, we have to come in not as a co-pilot company, we come in as a process and business solutions company first. So I would highly recommend on the Power Platform, AI is beautiful, but this adoption, this reality, it just it really sets us up for failure and a drift, AI drift and maintenance. So you guys know new models come out all the time, right? Right, and so you have first it was a AI Foundry. Now you can do for then you got some things you can do with Copilot. Now you can do another thing. Now the latest one was agent orchestration on Copilot itself, on the Copilot agent or Copilot Studio. That wasn't there. So if you created an agent 6 months ago and you created a whole infrastructure to do all these different things and you had different agents, you actually have AI drift. All these old agents that just sitting there, not used and ready to be either called upon or do something different, especially the ones that are asynchronous agents. So now you have these things running in the background that it's really hard. So just giving you guys the ugly that in production, we must think of this area that is coming. The future of the app is like we're creating plastic. You guys remember plastic is the greatest and most amazing thing? Sure it is, but look at what it's done. Same thing with AI.
What an analogy, Lucas. What a great analogy.
So yeah, it's the same, right? And then yeah, success with blood, sweat, and tokens, right? So agents and all the token usage and things like that, we got to be careful. We discussed tokens a little bit last week, but we're getting some real experience, and I'm going to talk about Vixo next. Okay, so the start. So this is a Microsoft slide, right? So everybody's concerned about injection attacks and also not understanding how we're regulating or seeking guidance and things like that. And regulatory just overall, we have to on the Power Platform know what we're doing from this level if we're going to start creating agents. It's just imperative for us. Or otherwise, funny enough, I think we're going to create a nightmare on us in which customers are going to flip back over and say, no agents, leave them out of my environment. Okay. So interestingly enough, this is a little bit of what everybody cares about, right? The COE leader, the head of ops and things like that. But these are things that we have to ensure that we take into consideration. Can you guys hear me still? Into the rollout, but I really want to kind of push forward here is 3 tips from applying AI, but this is from the Microsoft perspective, right? But I think it's good that enabling, just get familiar with AI, what it does, what it doesn't do, small projects, and also that they may have different ways on returns on AI and the way we're trying to do it. So don't just jump into a Power Up with an agent. Please try to look at it from a higher level for you to produce better results. Is this useful? Is this too metaphorical for everybody?
I was just making a comment in the chat. I mean, I think this definitely hits, especially the bottom one, not one size fits all. Each team and department may have different returns on AI, have different use cases for AI, different ways it can augment and automate. So to me, this whole slide makes sense, even kind of scaling bottoms up. Yeah, it hits some of the issues that I was describing, at least.
It was very different from the message that you get from Microsoft that are like, oh yeah, Copilot for everybody, plastic for everybody, for everything. You want to eggs, this, that. Yeah, Copilot. Of course, Microsoft wins because it consumes ACR. Great, fantastic. But our customers may not be better off.
Yeah, the problem is it doesn't stick either if you do it that way.
Yeah, Unless you're going to be at that company for 25 years and ride the life cycle of that one agent, then we're creating potential garbage. All right, the hero rides off with lessons. So I think I'm going to go into the Vixo case study, but the good, it can really transform things if managed properly. The bad, there's a lot of hype, and architecture is so freaking important. I can't even begin to say it. And the ugly is that we are going to keep on learning as we go along, and I encourage everybody to do and learn the scars, and know the dangers that are out there for each one of us. Go ahead, Dinesh.
Yeah, just going off of something you were saying earlier, it seems like change management is really important in anything that's being rolled out, because I think change management can really hit a lot of these points if you're thinking about it proactively, in terms of planning for the change, communications. It's your standard change management process. Is that, Lucas, has that been an important piece of when you've landed solutions with clients, just really hitting that change management up front, because it's a lot of change?
Uh-huh. There's change management takes a different dimension because it's also on you. What do I mean by that is that there's change management of the people using it, change management of the people managing it, management on the person creating the agent. Right? So I can't just set it loose and be like, hey, see, like, here you go. You have to design with engineering in mind, with architecture and the future in mind. So it goes, yes, the answer is absolutely. It just has AI just brings a different orthogonality. I guess that's the word that I'm looking for when it comes to Power Platform.
Got it.
Okay, let's talk about a use case. So Vixo, this is one of our customers. It has 150,000 techs. If you ever had a coffee, PSL, my favorite, Jackie, you must tell us what it is if you smiled. What's a PSL?
Pumpkin spice latte.
Pumpkin spice latte. So is the PSL season just started like 2 weeks? So these guys, yeah, they're delicious. These guys are responsible for that PSL. They basically run 65,000 locations all over the place. They got about 150,000 techs. 7-Eleven, Kroger, everything, Amazon, Safeway, everything. Anytime you gotten a little sandwich at one of these places, they're responsible for maintaining this material or this equipment. They wanted to create a machine that or an AI or an agent that provided next generation service. So when they log in using Dynamics 365, they wanted the tech to know exactly what the problem is and give step-by-step instructions on how to fix it and how to interact. Be like, I see a green light, I see this, show me the picture, show me the manual. So we dissected thousands of user manuals and manufacturer manuals to get the right precision on what was given to these technicians. The goal, if you're dealing with 150,000 technicians, even 1% is a buttload of money, right? So it's called the TTR or time to close or TTC. So we provided this, and what we learned is this. So Dinesh, to your question, just because you have AI, it doesn't mean that you're going to drive adoption. Nobody really cares. There got to be a good reason for you to use AI. And then most people look at it what the value is, like what's in it for me. My job's been fine for the last 20 years. What's in it for me? Right? I'm using AI. So this is looking at it from a user or from an end perspective. And how do you drive people to adopt the agents that you're creating? You got to turn on some advocacy. And the last one is just because you built it, that doesn't mean that they come. Look at your usage reports. I dare any Power Platform developer to go into Copilot Studio and look at the usage reports and tell me how much that agent's being used. Like, great, we're creating plastic if we don't want it, right? So is it being used? So by who? Are they providing feedback and so on and so forth? right? And so you got to drive engagement. That's what we learned, Dinesh. Just because it's there doesn't mean that they do it, right?
And what's funny is that engagement is supposed to be what fine tunes it, makes it better. That's what it's without that engagement, it can't be successful, right? So you kind of need it. It's like a core component.
Yeah, AI has a thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down component. Have you guys seen that? When you're chatting here, let me go back. I think it's not in that screenshot. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Sounds ideal, right? Because if a response is good, thumbs up. But what if the response was good, but you didn't like it? You give it a thumbs down. So now you're training AI on bad data. And you have a population of 150,000 people depending on the ranking of this response for AI. Does that make sense, guys?
It totally does.
You're creating bad data even when you don't mean to. So you got to be really careful in the way that you release AI to be used in applications overall. You have to have a feedback mechanism to know, not just because they're using it doesn't mean it's great.
All right. Hit all the weird things.
Go ahead. Jim, go ahead. You're off mute, my friend.
Was that a question? Or maybe you just forgot to be on mute. I'll go ahead and mute.
I had another comment, Lucas. I was talking actually with another medium-sized tech firm earlier today, and just more broadly about AI, and what they were talking about, and it kind of gels, I think, with what you've got here. Is it's really about driving like your standard customer success. So, or even think about it as support. So it's not, post-launch, you don't just walk away. You're doing post-launch support. You're post-launch customer success. So you're treating it as, you're not just wiping your hands once it's been adopted. You are continuing to engage with that customer to make sure it gets adopted in the right way, that updates that need happen, and it's sort of this long-term relationship, right?
Correct. So, which customer engagement in which has anybody built an agent as part of a customer engagement? Anybody? Mark?
You mean on
Jackie?
Copilot Studio or just
Copilot Studio?
overall?
Any agent.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Great. Did you have a follow-up managed services engagement for that agent? Or were you one and done?
It was just my little test thing. It wasn't anything to write home about.
That's fair, right? But most engagements are just, most tools are being built as a unit. AI is a living thing.
Right.
Right? So just keep that in mind. So this is what we learned. Numbers. This was an old slide. This was all the way from April, even before that. We rolled it out in stages. So it was 200, 400 at a time, blocks of text and so on. And then, look at this. So let's go from left to right. 2,000 plus work orders at that time. It was just getting released. 200 technicians. What did they say? Some were like, identifies issues faster. The other one, the wrong equipment. So what is that? Is that a data issue or is that a training issue? You don't know from looking at that. But we do know that we have to have a KPI tied to every agent. What is the KPI that we went from is TTC, or time to complete, improvement. So we got a 3% in a work order. If you multiply that in 2,000, let's say it's 1 minute. 1 minute, that's 6,000 minutes that you save. And so you put a value, what is that for math people, 100 hours, right? So that, and if you pay $150 an hour, $100 an hour, that's quite a bit. You can use that for a bonus for somebody. Or that's your profitability going up. Now multiply that times 150,000. Get me? All right. So what did we learn, right? We talked about flexibility, right? Improvisation. So the results we have to iterate when we're doing an AI project. Deep flexibility, improvisation. Hey, the answer's not correct. The way it behaves, the way it talks, the language the way that the texts are not like, they don't like a very fruity AI. They like a very hardcore, just straight facts. Don't give me any fluff. Let me go. I gotta go. Change management, communication, right? Continuing to fine tune the results. And as new models are coming out, we gotta do innovate. Is this better than the last? What we do is OpenAI Vision. Anybody mess with that? Yeah, for document, for image capturing and vectoring. That's what our team used it for. That was something brand new that just came out. We tried it, it worked. There must be something newer. Okay. And technical and functional, everybody grows at the same time. And where to next? This is a little bit of measuring ROI quickly, making sure that we know what is this AI going to do. If it's no ROI or some KPI, you're just wasting time and cycles and tokens. Fair. So that's it. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly. So a little bit of a promise of the future and what we can do, but also the dangers in which we're entering.